Hey there, friends and enemies, Jopa here again, and today we got official confirmation that Marathon from Bungie is officially getting delayed. And this doesn't come as a surprise based on all the information we learned, the backlash to the game, some of the art issues we've seen, and also just the general feelings after the closed alpha previously. And I do feel like this is something that needed to happen. The question will remain, will this be enough to ultimately save the game? Because despite popular opinion, I still have hopes that this can be a success. We've seen Bungie turn around games in the past. We've seen games that have been written off actually turn things around and become successful, but there's a lot that they need to do, especially leaning into the Bungie formula when making an extraction shooter, because extraction shooters in general have a very niche audience. So instead, this game needs to capitalize on what makes gamers enjoy Bungie games at the end of the day, and that's something that I hope we see. I'll explain that in a little bit, but let's go through the Marathon developer update. Thank you for not only your passionate feedback around the Marathon reveal and alpha playtest, but also your patience while we took the time to listen closely and chart our next steps. Through every comment and real-time conversation, social media, and Discord, your voice has been strong and clear. We've taken this to heart, and we know we need more time to craft Marathon and the game that truly reflects your passion. We made the decision to delay the September 23rd release. The alpha test created an opportunity for us to calibrate and focus the game on what will make it uniquely compelling. That's exactly what's been missing. Survival under pressure, mystery, and lore around every corner, good. Raid-like endgame challenges, also good. And Bungie's genre-defining FPS combat. So what separates Bungie games oftentimes is the shooting, the endgame content. We saw that in raids. The Bungie raids and dungeons were absolutely some of the most unique pieces of content when they first launched, and Marathon didn't have anything like that, and I think that's what it was sorely lacking. While using this time to empower the team to create the intense, high-stakes experience that title like Marathon is built around, this means deepening the relationship between the developers and the game's most important voices, our players. So some of our immediate focus areas will be upping the survival game, so more challenging and engaging AI encounters. That's good. While there were some interesting AI battles, at the end of the day, a lot of them were simply too simple. You just walk up, destroy a couple AI, and then move on to the next location. More rewarding runs with new types of loot and dynamic events. That's what I feel like is also missing from the game. If you load in, every single drop-in should feel unique. So when I load into a game and then there's a random weather event and there's a certain special encounter that I face, enemies that I haven't seen in a couple games, and then I have certain types of loot that I'm chasing, and I get a key and I want to go target a specific location, but now that's blocked by a boss type enemy or something of that nature, something to really make each run feel worthwhile and unique, not only for replayability but also that excitement. That's what was really missing, that edge of your seat, like won't I survive type of engagement. So make combat more intense and strategic. Strategic is important because it did feel like with some of the abilities of the characters, you could simply pop them, go get a kill real quick, and then dip out, and then there wasn't a lot of counterplay. So hopefully that does change with the upcoming adjustments to the game. Doubling down on the Marathon universe. Increased visual fidelity, good, more narrative and environmental storytelling to discover and interact with. That's one mistake that I cannot believe they made. One of the things people love about Destiny is the universe. We had a lot of interesting ways to tell stories. We had the Grimoire in Destiny 1, and we have the lore tabs in Destiny 2, and it receives a lot more attention than I think people realize at times. A darker tone that delivers on the themes of the original trilogy. Again, so this is where Marathon was really having a problem. It seemed like a game for no one. The OG Marathon fans didn't like the direction of the game. Extraction shooter fans thought it was too easy and not giving that risk-reward type of trade-off that you look for in extraction shooters. And Bungie fans felt like there wasn't enough of those typical Bungie moments that really make a game like this kind of shine. And so that's really why I feel like they kind of missed the mark on all 3 points. Again, I enjoyed the alpha for what it was, but I do understand that improvements are necessary. Adding more social experiences, a better player experience for solos and duos, proc chat so social stories come to life. Both of those are absolutely necessary and need to be there at launch. So I feel like maybe you could have certain maps that cater more towards solo or duo players. Like some maps will have more encounters that are solo friendly. Some maps will have will play out a little bit different if you have a whole team. Stuff like that I think would be important as well. You'll hear from us again later this fall when we share the progress we made alongside the game's new release date. Thank you again for your patience and, more importantly, your passion. Your continued feedback will help us make Marathon the incredible gaming experience we all know it can be. Now, in the latest Sony call, they did reveal that this is still supposed to release by the end of Q1 of 2026, which I believe is like March or something like that. So we might see this go from September to maybe like February would make a lot of sense. So that would give them September, 5-6 months in order to revamp everything, and I think that's going to be a good thing ultimately. And we already know that Arc Raiders is launching in October. This game gets compared to that one a lot, and you kind of are in a tough situation, right? You don't want to release too close to that game when it's new and fresh, and everyone's already kind of looking to prefer Arc Raiders because it's had a more positive reception so far. Whereas I also think you want to not release too late where Arc Raiders has an entrenched player base and now you're missing the mark because it's beyond anything that you can make up for. Now, Arc Raiders is third person and not everyone will play third person games. Some people will only enjoy first person shooters. So because of that, there is that bit of difference. And I do think ultimately, if Marathon gets it right and does things that makes it more enjoyable, ideally a game like this would have solo gameplay to where you could go solve puzzles, maybe uncover some various loot, make some gradual progression that's nice and easy, nothing too crazy, a little bit of stress and tension, but nothing too insane. Then you'd have your mid-level players who are able to do the same thing, maybe in a group, maybe solo, but also add those extra layers, more PvP combat, more exciting encounters with your harder PvE enemies. And then you would have your hardcore players who would take on the highest challenges, the raid-like activities and all of that. And if you appeal to all of them, that's why Destiny 2 has been so successful for so long. You have players who have never raided before in their entire Destiny career, which sounds insane. You have players who will only play PvP, and then you have players who will only do end-game content like raids and dungeons. And appealing to all three of those players is the difficulty that Marathon has, but is something that I think is achievable if they follow with what they are saying here. And I hope they get a lot of good feedback. This game might be doomed ultimately based on the public perception so far, but I'm hopeful and I hope that they are able to make some things change and do some, make some massive turnarounds. It might be too late, but 6 months is a long time, and hopefully they're able to develop some pretty good content going forward. And I really don't want to see any new updates from them until we know for sure what all is changing. Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Like the video as always, comment, subscribe. Are you still looking forward to Marathon, or is the game dead in the water in your opinion? My name is Jopa. Have a good one, and I'll catch you all later.